What's up and welcome back. I'm John Starr from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic. And today we're going to talk about Come See Me in the Good Light. This is a 2025 documentary that's currently available on Apple. I think they're just Apple TV now. They dropped the Plus. I sometimes still refer to them as Apple Plus because why not? Everything else is Disney Plus, Paramount Plus. You know, rebranding doesn't always work, guys, but Apple TV still, to me, is the device, the little plug-in box that you put into your thing, not the actual service that you subscribe to. But anyway, this was at Sundance earlier in the year, and since has been this thing that I have heard a lot about. It's been, for the people who got a chance to see it as it drifted through 2025, was one of their favorite documentaries. And it's now one of mine. So I did not know who Andrea Gibson was, nor did I need to know who Andrea Gibson was in order to be emotionally moved by her story. I think she could have been not a poet laureate, but just anything. She could have been a weather forecaster from Montana. She could have been, you know, a semi-pro retired pro women's golfer. You know what I'm saying? Like I just, there are so many things that she could have been, but what she was human, and she turned that into this documentary, which is about facing cancer head on and that diagnosis and turning it around and using that sort of like that Tim McGraw song, that Live Like You Were Dying, a little bit, right? Where you have, you know, you don't have a lot of time left, and the minutes, the seconds, all that stuff become so precious as you live on them. And she lives with her wife, Meg, through this, who is the other largely featured character here. Not characters, they're humans. People in a documentary. I don't know, subjects? That makes them feel real scientific. The subjects of the documentary. So we watch, Andrea get the diagnosis, and these two navigate their relationship, and Andrea kind of go through the ups and downs of various therapies, chemo and some other treatments, some more radical therapies, and just all of that with her partner by her side, and what that journey's like. And they're open about their relationship, and Meg's not going anywhere, and Andrea's worried about leaving Meg to be able to who's gonna be there to help her grieve the loss of her, of Andrea. So and there are so many beautiful moments that are captured here rather accidentally. And I think just, God, made this such like a beautiful documentary. This is not the kind of shit the Oscars go for, but I hope they do. Listen, I know the world is on fire, and I know we want 5 World on Fire documentaries, and that is the thing that we're gunning for all the time, are these documentaries where we're like, oh my God. Look at all of the terrible things that are happening in this world, but also look at how amazingly human we are. Look at what it's like to just be connected to someone, to be connected to yourself, to be connected to a moment. Look at what it's like to reflect on simple things, to be so attentive to a pair of birds, right? That you notice when one of them is missing, and then we learn more about birds and how those 2 birds, they like mate for life, and the other one will just stay wherever it was, if the other one leaves or dies or whatever, would just stay there for like up to a year, just in a mourning period. So, yeah, it's a wonderful, beautiful. It's sad. I'm not gonna say this whole thing is like an uplifting pile of joy. It's a cancer documentary. So as much as Come See Me in the Good Light would love to be, a bright light for all, it is still a cancer documentary where its protagonist is terminal. So people are going to have to reckon with that, regardless of the tonality, regardless of the intentionality behind the documentary, and through Andrea's words. She's a beautiful poet. I loved her stuff. And there's one thing that she said that I'm going to paraphrase because I only heard it once. And the existence of the message stood with me. And but I don't think it's exactly the same way. After one of her treatments, she says, for those who don't like poets or poetry, they've never had to they've never had to receive terrible news, or they've never had to tell terrible news beautifully, or something like that. There's something about how she comes out of one of her treatments and she's waiting for Meg to tell her the results, and she mentions that there's, that the poetry comes in being able to navigate that. So yeah, I adore this. I think this is a great documentary. Might be my favorite of the year. I don't know. I've seen a lot of documentaries. There are a lot. We could have a whole documentary Oscar ceremony. There are enough to warrant them. It's weird that we only have 5, because there's so many documentaries every year. But I wish this one the best. I hope it at least gets shortlisted. I hope it doesn't just get written off as being inconsequential. I think it's very much of consequence, and I think it's the kind of documentary that'll speak to a lot of people if they can allow it to speak to them. So I'm very much on board. This does have audio description. It's done by I think Jediah Barton. That's going to be my guess. Apple really wanted me to watch the next season of Palm Royale, which I hadn't gotten to yet, and did not let me move on. Did not really let me watch that much of the credits. I was kind of disturbed at where Apple has the listed of the credits. So admittedly, because I can't see a screen anyway, I watch films on all sorts of different places, and a lot of times I listen to them off my iPhone with headphones, and this was that case. I wasn't staring at a screen that I couldn't see. It does this thing where it says like website, and like it's loading something, and that always indicates to me when I'm watching a show or a movie that it's about to end. And I was surprised at where that was, because I didn't even think the movie was about to end. Like, it was like website, and I was like, what the fuck? And so basically, it seemed like almost as soon as she stopped talking, like, I was in like Palm Royale, and I was like, what were the credits? What happened? Where'd we go? I was so unaware and like, I was like, it can't be. We're not at the end of the movie. The movie's still, what is happening? The movie ended, and then maybe like 2 seconds, and suddenly like Palm Royale roars on, and I'm just like, what just happened to the credits of this movie? So, I know it's a documentary, and you don't necessarily have like 500 people that worked on it, so they wouldn't have been like incredibly long stuff, but damn. So yeah, I don't know who did it, but I think it's pretty certain it's Jedediah Barton based on name recognition, although sometimes Darren Polish sneaks in there because he sounds kind of like Jedediah. So that would be my guess. It's a documentary. There's not like a ton of description. It's also, she's a poet laureate, so a lot of it is speaking, and you go through a lot of her poems. And yeah, not a ton of time for heavy amounts of audio description, but there is audio description. It is a little bit there. Would I give it an award for achievement and audio description? No, I would not, but there is audio description to this thing. So it'll answer some questions and close some of the gaps for you, but most of this is just spoken, as it should be from somebody who does sort of spoken word slam poetry. So there you go. I'm going to give Come See Me in the Good Light a 9.6 out of 10. I adore this. I love it. As sad and heartbreaking as it is, it also somehow manages to feel like a warm hug. It somehow manages to feel like Andrea is saying, it's okay. And here's some advice on the way out. You know, if you find yourself in my place, here's some advice. So, best wishes to Meg, and I hope this film does well. So, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I will see you guys on the other side.